Shakedown, the Shakedown. I have some amazing guests with me tonight. We are talking with us. We are talking. Hey, Todd. Hey, DP. We are talking the Bud Crawford Errol Spence fight, and we are going to go over some history. We're going to talk about the legends. We're going to let the community talk back. We're just going to have a loaded show because it's countdown time to the biggest fight of our era. Everybody's going to be watching what's going on in Nebraska and Texas, and we are going to try to lead the way with the conversation on tonight. To my left, I have, what generation are you? Generation whatever. Donovan Craddock, co-moderator.
Generation Y.
Generation Y, who knows the most, right?
Yes.
Jermaine Trotter. I had Jermaine Trotter. You know Jermaine Trotter, he does a lot of our sports commentary for the Dock Bookshop. He does all kind of things for Dock Bookshop. He runs debt relays. He runs his own business. So he is the boss. The super promoter, you guys. And then to my right, I got your left. I got Kendrick Roper. He just everybody. Earlier today, if y'all heard the live earlier today, I told him he was the award-winning boxer in Texas. So he might correct me on that. He has his own company called REMG Talent, where he promotes a lot of boxing talent in the Dallas metroplex area and Fort Worth. And he hosts some fights, so he's going to tell you a little bit more. And then I have
Dream Performance.
And Dream Performance, I should know that. Dock Bookshop, next door to the Dock Bookshop. Also on the live, we have Todd Snyder. He is the author of Bundini, the book behind me or in front of me. I have it right there. Yeah. He is also with one of our publishing companies, Hamilcar. I might mispronounce it, but we love them. Every time I have a boxing or a boxing fetish or anything, I go to the company. I think they're going to be pivotal in terms of what's going on with this fight. And his other book, can they see it? Beatboxing. Oh, how the fight, how hip hop changed the fight game. So we're going to be going over all of that. Welcome. How do we want to
subscribe?
Oh, subscribe. Everybody on there, please subscribe. And share.
Get everyone in on this conversation.
Share the energy and everybody in on this conversation. This is going to be a loaded conversation. People are going to go back and forth and listen to this conversation. But before we just jump off into the boxing, I do want to go over a little bit of history. So I want to bring Todd to the forefront.
Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate you for having me.
Okay, turn them up. Yes. Okay, Todd, you there?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing?
How you doing? You got a whole audience over here. We're looking forward into the conversation. But before we jump on into the conversation, can y'all hear? Okay. Can you just talk a little bit give us a little bit more information about who you are and about your work, Bundini, and about your book? And then we're going to relate it to what's going on between Errol Spence and Bud Crawford.
Both great books, by the way.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the love. It means a lot to me. I grew up in West Virginia. My father was a boxing trainer there. His name was Michael O. Snyder. And I grew up around boxing my entire life. So long before I was a writer or a professor, I grew up in boxing gyms. And my first book about boxing was called 12 Rounds in Lowe's Gym. It was a memoir about my dad's boxing club and just growing around boxing my whole life. So I sort of see the sport through the lens of a trainer or the son of a boxing trainer. And my second book was Bundini, Don't Believe the Hype, which was a big turning point in my life and career where I got to work with Drew Brown's family. You know, of course, Drew Bundini Brown being Muhammad Ali's famous hype man. And I got to work with George Foreman, Larry Holmes, all these legendary fighters for that book. And my latest book was called Beatboxing, How Hip Hop Changed the Fight Game. And I interviewed some of my heroes as a kid. Hip hop was my first love. Boxing was my father's. So we talked about the sort of intersecting histories between hip hop and boxing. And let me tell you, every time I interviewed a rap icon like Big Daddy Kane or, you know, guys from the Wu-Tang Clan or Eric B., they all want to see Bud Crawford and Errol Spence. You know, that was the first question I would always ask is, what fights are you looking forward to? And that I started that research back in 2018. And even back then, they were calling for us. This is a big week for the sport. I would argue a big week for hip hop culture too.
Great. I think I want to turn over the conversation. I think I'm gonna give the first shout out to. Are you ready, Jermaine?
Oh, I'm always ready. Well, we always ready. We always on and popping.
So I think
How's it going, Todd?
Hey, how's it going, guys? I appreciate you.
Okay, Kendra, you want to throw out the first question to Todd so we can just get the interview started? I guess I will throw out the first question. Todd, why do you think this is such a big fight? What is it about this fight that just has the whole country just intrigued?
Well,
I'm not going to ask you right off the bat who you think is going to win. I'm not going to do that.
We'll build to that, okay? I want to say this. Look, rarely in the sport of boxing do we say this is the best fight that can possibly be made. I would argue this is absolutely, beyond a shadow of doubt, the best possible fight that can be made in boxing right now. And that's why when I was interviewing all those people back in 2018, 2019, they were calling for it even back then. It's a true pick'em fight. There's a million reasons to believe Errol Spence can win. There's a million reasons to believe Bud Crawford's going to win. They're all valid reasons. I think boxing experts are pretty divided on this fight. It's rare that we can actually say this is the best fighting the best. From my 2 cents, it's the two best fighters in the world getting in the ring, pretty much in their primes. It's as good as it gets in the sport of boxing. It harkens back to the 60s when you think of Leonard and Hearns and Duran and Hagler and those guys. It's a pick'em fight. We don't get these very often in boxing.
That's true.
Now, why do you think there's such a comparison to the Hagler and Hearns? I've been hearing that quite a bit.
Well, I think this is going to be one of those fights that's going to have a lot of ebb and flow to it. I think we're going to see rounds where Spence controls the pace. We're going to see Bud have his moments. It's going to go back and forth. I mean, you're looking at a 3-division champion versus a 3-belt champion, 28-0 versus 39-0. I mean, guys who have had pretty much flawless, perfect records, guys who have proven themselves in the ring. I mean, honestly, it's as good as it gets. This feels like a holiday for the sport of boxing this week. It's a really tough fight. And, I grew up with a boxing trainer for a father. A lot of my friends are boxing trainers, are involved in the sport. And you'll ask 10 people and you get, 10 different answers of what's going to happen on Saturday. I think that's what it used to be like in the 60s when the best fought the best. Like I said, pretty much in their primes. And, you didn't know what was going to happen. I think when the bell rings on Saturday, most of us will be clueless. This is a hard fight to predict.
Okay, Ty, I want to go ahead and bring, I think DP and there's a Bob. They're kind of on the front line in Omaha, Nebraska. So I want you to guys go ahead and introduce yourselves and, your take on what's coming up on the 29th. If I could see you, where did it go somewhere?
Well,
can y'all hear me?
I just like to say, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, this is okay. This is Bobby Murray. They're at the boxing gym, actually at Bud Crawford's gym, I believe, in Omaha, Nebraska. So they wanted to. So go ahead and jump in there and give us your take on what you expect to happen on the 29th.
Well, I think it's going to be a good fight. Like everybody said, I'm just going to echo that. We've been waiting on this fight for a long time. You're going to get a chance to see arguably two of the best fighters in this day and age right now in the ring. And it's what everybody wanted to see. Coming to you live from the gym, from Bud Crawford's gym. It's amazing to just have an opportunity even to, witness a fight like this. I think 20, 30 years from now, the conversations is going to come up and people not going to really realize or understand what's going to happen on the 29th. But just to answer on what you think I think is going to happen, I don't think Spence can run no more. I think the truth is getting ready to come out. That's what I think going to happen.
So you think the truth is about to come out? Okay, I'm going to turn this over to Kendrick and get his idea of what he thinks is going to happen.
We're going to call the 29th the day of exposure.
Huh?
We're going to call the 29th the day of exposure.
I'm gonna pass the baton to.
Okay. I totally agree with what he's saying. The truth is about to come out and beat up on Crawford.
You saying beat up on Crawford?
He gonna beat up on him, man.
That's not about to happen. I see all them little eye splits he been doing and this and that. He ain't gonna get a chance to do that Saturday. That little one way style don't work.
No, it's not one way. It's just fundamental.
He got one way. Hey, Kendrick, you got a gym over there. You know what I'm talking about. He got one style, and that's going forward. And the more he come forward, the more he gonna get hit.
Okay, all right.
You know how it go.
Fundamentals.
That little tat to the body. See that little tat to the body? It ain't gonna work.
It's different.
See, we coming by way to. We about that smoke.
It's different when he's walking him straight forward behind his jab, and then just walking straight forward.
Go ahead. We're talking styles here, you guys, now. So,
I know it's a lot.
Styles make fights.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I was about to go with it. Styles do make fights, and looking at both fighters, I think it's going to be a great fight. I think that a lot.
Let's go to the box. We're gonna go to the boxing side. We're on the wrestling side right now. We're gonna go over to the boxing side.
Well, yeah, make it where you got to go. But But I think his styles make fights. That's the absolute truth. You've been in boxing for a long time. You're one of the big promoters in Fort Worth when it comes to it. I think both styles can interrupt the flow, of each fighter. I think that Spence carries the hard punch. And we got to see if Bud can take that punch. You know what I mean? I think that's my biggest thing is Spence is a straightforward fighter. He comes through and he's got a pretty solid jab. Crawford has a style and flow to his. He has a style of boxing that's kind of old school, but he's got a lot of grace with his style too. So he's kind of a sneaky fighter. He can catch you, in a moment. But we've seen Spence take punches. We've seen Spence take a lot of punches and eat a lot, but not too many people have been able to take Spence's punches. So I think that's going to be the tail of the tape. I think the fight is going to go the distance, but I do think we might see a knockdown. And it depends on who falls into whose trap.
So who you think gonna get the first knockdown?
Crawford gets drawn into a Spence brawl or battle, or because Spence is I'm gonna get my lick back fighter. You ain't gonna hit Spence without him getting his lick back.
But Donnie, hold on a second. I want to bring Todd in real quick and talk about, because you did a lot of history and a lot of research. When we talk about styles, who do you think Earl's style look like? Is it Sugar Ray Robinson? And who do you think Bud's style look like? Who represents in a historical type of sense of what these fighters look like today?
Yeah, I just want to add too, before we get into the technical side of things, I don't think these two men could represent the sport of boxing any better than they do. I think they're great men in and outside the ring. I don't think either guy's a thing to prove, to be honest. I think, the reason the whole world wants to see this fight is because they've proven everything there is to prove. There's only one man in each other's way as far as like defining themselves as the guy in their generation. I look at Spence as like a perfectly fundamentally sound fighter. I think Crawford is as well, but maybe he's a little more of a wild card, as ambidextrous, switch styles, can do some of that Roy Jones, Sugar Ray Robinson kind of stuff that is improvisational. Look, I think they're both dynamite. I think they've both proven everything there is to prove. I can see those knockdowns that you guys were alluding to happening in the fight. I could see both guys having big moments in this one. It's as good as it gets. I guess that's what I have to say.
In all honesty, I think it comes down to the coaching and which fighter can carry out what's been told the best.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you this, Kendrick. And I know you've seen you come up in the world of boxing. You've been in the ring, outside the ring, and you can kind of. I'm sure you go in from a boxer's vision when you see two fighters fighting. I'm sure you put yourself in that ring, so you kind of got a different perspective from what we see. As far as you, Spence, what do you do to prepare for or counter a person like Crawford? How would you approach that fight? What would be your method or your strategy?
In all honesty, how he been doing behind his jab, tight defense. To me, I think that's the main difference in between the styles of the fighters. One is much tighter than the other, and the other one gets caught in between punches. Crawford get caught in between punches a lot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the tightness of Spence defense is going to be the key, and he does. He's not one dimensional. He does come forward, but at the same time, if a dude is steady backing up, what you're supposed to do,
Right.
the key is he goes forward behind his jab, not just walking him down. So I'd approach it the same way.
And what about Crawford approaching Spence?
The key is so my key with that one is being able to stay on my jab, switching, but tighten up my defense a little bit. That's the key. I think that'll be the main difference maker. Not so many wild punches, and if I am throwing wide punches, I'm picking and choosing when to throw them.
Good. So your take is you think Crawford tends to throw
wider shots
to where it leaves him open for
counters.
Errol Spence is more defensive.
He's more defensive, but he's tight. His defense is tight. You got a slim window to hit him with anything.
Now I have seen Spence get hit, and I've seen Crawford get hit.
Yeah,
But Spence seemed to take his a little bit.
the recovery is
Yeah,
different.
it was a different recovery from what I saw. Spence.
Wait, hold on. Repeat that. What'd you say?
Talk louder. Yeah.
No,
Turn
what
him up,
I was
turn him
saying was, as far as the hit, as far as Crawford taking a Spence hit versus Spence taking a Crawford hit, and how we've seen both fighters get hit in moments and get rocked, so to speak, in their fights. And both of them took them differently, as he said, as far as recovery. Spence seemed to be take his, and actually he came forward more after he got hit, and it was kind of one of those off guard shot hits, whatever.
Yeah.
But needless to say, he seemed to recover better in that moment than I think Crawford took it. Now Crawford took it, and he was able to recover as well and come to the
I
rest.
can agree with that.
Yeah,
I can agree with that. I think that's a fair statement.
Yeah, and we just it's just about who gonna be able to
I
take
believe.
Right.
You out here, my man?
What was that? What was that, Bobby? What were you saying? You believe what?
Now, I said I agree with that. I thought that was a fair assessment. But I think that and he does. Bud's style is a little different. But I think he has. I think that the way that he has, so he can change up and in an instant. And I think that that's underestimated and underrated. I think that his ability to adjust. I think that his ring IQ is where his edge is gonna come in. That's what I think. I think that the size difference, the minor size difference, is gonna give him them 2 inches he need to get under there when he need to get under there, and to get over there when he need to get over there. I think that it's gonna be a really, really good fight. I can't wait to see the fight.
But Bobby,
I gotta get it.
Bobby, you missing one thing. You missing one key thing that Kendrick
What's that?
said, and y'all did not address it. He talked about the training, and I am seeing that. I hate to say, I'm seeing Derek James, and I'm not seeing a lot out of the training camp. From
Right.
I think we need to see more out of that training camp because. Derek is really training, and he's got a lot of fighters that are doing some great things. So what do you say to the training if it comes down to the training? What's going on?
Well, I think the training speaks for itself. When you talk about training, you can't go far enough with it. What do we lose? But
We're talking about the trainer.
The trainer.
The trainer.
Well,
He talking about the trainer.
Oh, what about it? You talking about both?
Matt.
What about it?
You want to
okay,
talk
while
about the
you thinking
trainer?
about it, we can bring Todd in on this conversation because he
What's
one
the
of the greatest
question
trainers,
about
I think,
Bowman?
was Bundini. And you can Todd come in on the conversation, just talk a little bit about Bundini and how are the styles different and what do the trainers need to bring out.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you think of like the edge on who's got the better trainer or who's got the better camp, I think the key thing to look at here is that both guys have trainers who they've been loyal to for quite some time. I think Bomac and Bud are, like father and son in some ways. And I think if you look at Derek James, he won Trainer of the Year last year. He's a fantastic trainer with a star-studded stable of guys. He's got Joshua and, Ryan Garcia and all these guys in there. Of course, Charlo. I think both of them have really tight camps and have really excellent trainers. We talk about Ali and Bundini. The reason that camp was probably the most famous training camp or entourage, if you want to call it that, of all time, is they were like spokes in a wheel, is what Bundini would often say. Angelo was the X's and O's. Bundini was the legendary hype man. Captain Sam had his role. Each guy in the camp had a different role. And I think both of these guys, Spence and Crawford, have excellent teams around them. Usually I do kind of lean toward looking at who's got the better camp, the better trainer. I think in this instance, it's still a toss-up as well. I admire both guys for being loyal to the folks who brought them into the sport. So I think Bud and Spence deserve credit for that too. We see a lot of guys these days who they jump camp and go to, they lose a fight and blame it on the trainer. These are not those type of guys. These are not the kind of guys that make excuses. So once again, I got to say it's a toss-up in regard to the trainers. I think both are excellent trainers. Both have excellent camps. Once again, I think this was a hard one to pick if you're looking just at trainers or, the camps they have around them. I think it's a toss-up once again.
Let me say something real quick. So I'm gonna go deep with it. When Maurice Hooker fought here the last time, when he was in his heart, when the heart of that fight, when he was against Blair Cobbs, who was the main one giving him instruction? Bud was coming to that corner shouting out stuff. So that not the coach, it was another fighter. That's the difference. When Bud is in this fight with Spence at his hardest time, yes, he has those three trainers, but who is he really going to be listening to? Who else has been to that level that can give him and articulate things in the right way? Derek has been to that level, and it's nothing against I call him the three-headed monster because it's three good coaches in that corner. It's nothing against them, but if you've never been to that level or to this level, it's hard to give insight on it. So that's why I give Derek that slight edge, and then for Errol to be able to carry out what he's been told, So who does Bud lean on when it comes to that moment?
He lean on Bomac. Bomac is the head trainer.
He is the head.
You know what
trainer.
I mean? Everybody has a head trainer, but you also got assistants. Just like Phil Jackson was the head coach of the Bulls, but he had somebody else design that play for him.
So what I'm saying is when Bomac isn't able to deliver in that moment, who does Bud turn to? He got the other two guys.
Any one of them in that corner. Anyone in that corner.
They're asking about Bomac's experience at that level.
Yeah.
Like Donnie, you probably knew a lot about that experience at that level.
See, the thing is, Bomac got one more that he's looking to call out. He's trying to get Frank Martin. He got another guy in his camp. Keyshawn. He's trying to get Frank Martin.
They better leave that fight alone.
Well, I'm gonna say this.
Huh?
I'm gonna say this. Let's look at some of the things they have in common. Let's look at some of the fights they have in common, right? They both fought Kell Brooks, Sean Porter. Of course, but if you want to look at as far as the takeout time or as far as performance in those two fights, it was a tale of two fights. I think Spence fought him first, right?
Yeah.
So they had already kind of softened the buck.
Yeah.
But
man,
let's talk about that, Todd.
Spence fought him first because he didn't want to fight Bud, and in that interview, that was when he copped to it. He said in the interview,
I'm gonna go the easy route.
I'm gonna go the easy route. He copped to it. He was running in. Let's talk truth if we're gonna talk.
Hey, look, and why you speaking about Porter and Brooke? They both was on a three win streak, knockouts. when they fought Bud, and they both said they was in the best shape. And they both said in that fight before they fought Bud, they both was in the best shape they ever been in. And to keep it real, and to keep it real, to me that knockdown that he got against Porter made it a draw.
Yeah,
but y'all not addressed the question. He said they were asking what do you think about Bomac and his background and his experience at that level, Donnie. That's what they were asking.
Bomac a fighter himself. He fought welterweight.
Huh?
Not at that level.
He was at that level. He didn't fight. He didn't make it to the pros like that, but he started training as soon as he got done. As soon as he won the Golden Gloves, he got done.
That's the difference maker.
You know,
and he started training Bud. But they've been in high profile fights since Bud was an amateur. And I feel like his spirits is high right now. I feel like he
does seem to be
okay, go ahead, Todd. Go ahead, Todd.
It does seem to be a narrative that people are talking about in the last couple of weeks. You know, is Bomac an elite trainer? Has he ever been, you know, on this level? It reminds me a little bit about some of the stuff people said about Roger Mayweather and Floyd Mayweather when they were training Floyd Mayweather Jr. It doesn't matter how many other fights they've had, big fights they've had. It matters can they communicate what they need to say to their fighter. And I think Bomac and Bud,
the knowledge of it.
39-0, 30 knockouts sort of proves that they're doing something right. I don't know if this is a fight that's actually going to come down to X's and O's or anything that's said in the corner. I think it's going to come down to what happens in between the ropes during the fight. And as far as the two comparisons to Kell Brook and the comparison to Sean Porter fight, that's an age-old adage too. And who do you give the credit to? The guy who beat those guys first or the guy who beat them the easiest? Bud had a much easier time with those guys, but he did beat them after Spence had already, defeated those guys.
After Spence, but they also went back and forth after Spence also.
So let me ask you this, Kendrick. As a fighter, like you just said, like Todd just said, Crawford did look to have a better time, an easier time beating him. Do you think that when a fighter has a defeat, do you think that there was a psychological decline?
Every time
do you think that contributed to that reason why Bud was able to?
Every time you get in that ring and leave out, you leave out a little bit weaker. That's especially when you go to different wars. Both of them fighters was in crazy wars before they fought Crawford. Both of them was in crazy wars before they fought Spence. So that's why a lot of people don't give Spence a lot of credit for beating because Triple G messes out. You see what I'm saying? So
demolished.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, one was still. I'll do it like this. Porter didn't train like he normally does for the Crawford fight. That has been well documented by his dad, by himself. So of course he was at a weaker state, still strong. Don't get me wrong, but at a weaker state. So you do leave the ring different each time you come out the ring. So it is psychological, and it was a big psychological something when he fought Porter, Crawford and Porter fought. Yeah. His dad.
I don't agree with that.
Okay. What's your point? Go ahead and make your point.
I don't agree with that because when you're in that competition, you're gonna train a certain way, and you know how your body gonna be when you train. We only can see it from the outside looking in, training you. But when you're training, you know what kind of physical condition you're in. You know if you're ready to compete and if you can stand up and compete. His dad stopped that fight because he didn't want no more damage to his son. He made a father call right then. He didn't make no trainer's call. He made a father's call. That's why he stopped that fight.
I'll agree with that too. But on the flip side, Porter did say, I didn't prepare the same.
Right. Ain't nobody gonna. Leonard didn't prepare the same when he fought Hagler or Hearns. He didn't prepare the same.
Well,
but he prepared for him.
Yeah, the intensity for both of them fights was different. We're up on level 12.
That's true.
So let's talk about this then.
I agree.
So let's talk about this elephant in the room. So we know Spence and his as far as his big car accident. There was a speculation that took a lot out of him, and that there's still some kind of narrative affiliated that. I mean, I don't know, to have an accident like that and to have to recover like that. And I saw him get in the ring, and he didn't really look the same before he did. You know,
so that's gonna be the excuse for Bud whoop his ass.
But do you think that's still? do you think that's still some wear and tear on that? You think he all the way back? You think he all the way back?
Hell no. Hey, look. That's what y'all Texas boys got about. That's gonna be your excuse. When it get this smoke on the 402, the accident ain't got nothing to do with it. He done had 5 fights since that accident.
Hey, I'm just done it. I'm just posing a question. We ain't saying that. Calm down. Calm down. We don't want to.
I have a other one goes.
Oh, corn huskers. I'm saying. I said crying huskers. My bad. Go ahead.
But and don't use nurse.
Nah, I don't know if he's still talking. I can't hear him.
Leave us on screen 720 because we can't see what they're doing. Leave us on screen. Yeah.
If he's not talking, to answer that question though, I feel those questions were answered in all honesty when he fought Danny Garcia.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
What was the question? I didn't hear the question.
Oh no, he was asking, did the Rick?
Do you think he was fully recovered mentally as well as physically from the?
If anything,
did you see? Did he look all the way back? I know
what happened to my body.
Eye damage.
I think so.
I would be happy to jump in on this one if you guys want my 2 cents.
Yes.
I do think in a fight this close of 2 fighters who I really do think are 2 of the best fighters on planet Earth, you do look as a boxing historian for red flags. And of course, like you called it the elephant in the room, that was a very brutal car crash. And my sister works in the dental field, and she talked to me about the procedure they did on Spence's teeth and what he went through. And if you've watched the preview show, when his mouthpiece was knocked out against Ugas, he thought his teeth fell out. And my sister had sort of predicted he might feel that way. It's not an easy thing to recover from mentally, not just physically. He hasn't been an active fighter since the car crash. He's only fought twice since. He fought Ugas in 2022. He fought Garcia in 2020. He did not fight in 2021. He hasn't fought since March of last year. He got a big layoff. You do have the eye surgery he had that knocked him out of the Manny Pacquiao fight. Those are some pretty big red flags. If I'm a Spence fan, if I'm from Dallas and I'm from Texas and I'm rooting for Spence, those things would make me a little bit nervous in life. There may be some weight issues I'm hearing too, as far as making weight. Those are red flags. Those are things to worry about. If you're leaning one way or another, you're betting money on Spence, those things would make me very nervous.
So do you think people are going to think that's why he's going to tend to lose, because it does have some overarching impact on how he's going to perform. So I think that's just kind of proven that he may not be able to perform. Is that are we trying to set the stage if something does happen? I get, when people start talking about that, and are they setting the stage? If he does not lose, these are the things that if he does not win, these are the things we're going to attribute it to, versus going back into it. But it may be the better. I'm not going to make a decision. I'm nonpartisan. Is that what I'm calling myself?
No, I'm not trying to. Yeah, and this is not in an effort to create any or make any excuses for Spence. I'm just saying we're just talking about all the things that have happened on this side of the spectrum versus this side. I think that's why I wanted to ask Kendrick. How did he feel about because I'm sure he's weighed in on that and thought about that, and you were able to feel out just looking at where Spence was his last fight. Do you think that he was the same Spence before the car accident where he is now at this time?
He's not. Well, first, going off of what Todd was saying, the inactivity. Mm-hmm. Inactivity does not necessarily mean a bad thing. That was time for him to heal up even more. The inactivity, of course, gave more time for his brain to heal, for his mouth to heal, for his body to heal, there's less punishment, right? As far as him being the same, he's not the same. He's smarter. He moved different. You get what I'm saying? He's going to be picking shots, setting traps a little bit different versus just going in there, for the lack of better words, reckless. You know what I'm saying? So no, he's not the same as he was before. He's definitely different. But I wouldn't look at that wreck as a bad thing or the inactivity as a bad thing, because Floyd took off 2 years, came back and fought. Took off 2 years, came back and fought. You know, so activity, especially as fighters, man, we putting our body through something all day, every day to the extreme. So that time off is definitely worth it. You know what I'm saying? As far as the weight issues, he always having questions about weight, but he ain't missed weight yet. You know, so I don't even look at that anymore.
I have been watching some comments. We got a comment from Pan African. Just a couple of comments that you're gonna have to make it real big. Keep me like that. He said he does have a nutritionist right now, which is really big on his body and getting his body back in shape.
Got a good one too.
Yes. So, and just getting his eating habits and everything just down to a science.
And he also says that it seems like he's dead serious about stepping to Crawford.
Yeah, I don't. The look is different. I'm gonna tell you now. The look is different. I don't know if it's the Texas heat. I call Donnie all the time and said, Donnie, I'm concerned about your guy because Spence is looking good. He wanted. He looked hungry. He looked like he gonna swallow some up. It's Shark Week, and I'm getting nervous. Like
Shark Week.
It's his thing. So I'm like, and I hear from Donnie almost every day talking about this, and he's like, I don't know, Donnie, are you there yet? Did he come back? Can we hear him? We cannot hear him. Are you muted, Donnie? He must be muted. He's still at the gym. I mean, that's his space.
Yes, I am. I can hear you now. I was muted.
So I don't know. Did y'all shut him up? Y'all didn't shut DP up, did y'all?
I think he shut up. I don't know what's going on with DP.
Yeah,
He's been missing in action for the last 3 months. Since this fight was made, DP been at the MIA.
DP, what? You didn't tell him about the stuff you said.
Hey, look, I ain't never hard to find. I am not never hard to find. Hey, look, try. You got my number. You called me once, but I was at work.
DP, DP, you were telling us how
I got your call, but as soon as they signed that fight, what I do? I got on the phone with you. As soon as they signed that fight, I called you. Now it's here.
But Donnie, you were talking about Bomac won certain trainer of the year. Did he not, or did he win trainer of the year awards?
Yeah, he won trainer of the year.
So when did he win trainer? Because Derek, I'm trying to pull out from you what actually was going on with Bomac, because I think training does make a difference. Who's in your corner? I think that again, back to Todd, Muhammad Ali was so successful because he had that corner man, and I think Dundee was his trainer and his hype man, right? Right, Todd?
No, Angelo Dundee was his trainer.
Okay, Dundee. He was the hype man.
Angelo was the head trainer. Yeah.
So all this does is exposes another area of the game where people estimate don't get the credit due because of where they're from or what's considered inexperience. So they don't get those opportunities. But like what was said before, 39-0 with 30 knockouts, that should speak volumes. That in itself should say that this man has earned the right and the respect that's needed and deserved to be at that level. And he's there to play and he's there to win. And I think that's been proven. So
no magic, just hard work.
Somebody had asked the question about who would he lean on for that experience, and my answer would be his trainer. My answer would be Bomac, because Bomac has what it takes. He has what he needs. He has what he's been giving him what he needs, because if he didn't, he wouldn't be at the level that he's at. He wouldn't be in the position that he's at.
3 divisions.
He wouldn't be where he is.
Yeah,
so just take that into consideration, because if Bomac had was from a different state with different type of exposure, it would be different, but he's not. He's from, Omaha, Nebraska,
The 402.
the 402. And so respect is due, and we coming forward.
It's filet. Hey, you know what? And I ate some fish earlier today. It wasn't even shark though, but it was some fish.
Where y'all at?
I'm gonna save the shark for later on this week.
Hold on, this what's going on over here. So y'all from Omaha. Hold on, this is what's going on. Y'all from Omaha. This is good. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. I know where you from. I know where you from. Hey, look, I wasn't even gonna do that. First, let me just say that all respect to the brothers in Omaha. We just doing a little tribalism right now. It's nothing really serious going on. Best of luck to both brothers. You know what I'm saying? But y'all gonna
for sure.
Oh yeah. At the end of the day,
y'all have to be really serious about what y'all
Texas.
saying as far as everything that's going on with both of these brothers. Like as
No
far
doubt.
as resume,
Dead serious.
Resume and all of that stuff is. Terence has a great resume as far as his accolades in boxing, but when we start to talk about what each one of them are competition, that does play in the factor.
It does.
And I do think that Spence has a better resume. You talk about the accident. We all been through stuff as immature people. Maybe he has grown from that, and seemingly he has. It seems like they corrected him. So you just got to really just look at everything that's going on. And looking at the nutritionist and all of that and what the corrections he's made since the accident, y'all going to have to really just look at that, man, because this is going to be a serious fight, and everything we've seen from him so far has not been any flaws once he gets in the ring. Same thing you can say for so only thing we're just really looking at is only thing I can look at the measurement between the two is the competition that they fought, and that's the only thing that you can do. And I would say Errol had a better resume than Terence.
And I totally agree with that. Danny.
But you're being honest with yourself. When he took the belt from Kell Brook. Kell Brook was done when Terence fought him. When he took the belt from Sean admitted, and his father admitted that the brother didn't train like he needed to train. So I don't understand how y'all missing all of this information in the equation of what may happen.
Actually, his father said he didn't train well.
Like y'all missing over a lot of good information to make a real sound decision.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
No.
Go
to Porterway podcast. He'll tell you himself. His father made that decision of him saying he didn't work out the way he should, the way he thought he should.
He didn't want to do it.
Can you turn him up? We can't hear.
He didn't want to do it. Right? Remember? He didn't want to train as hard as he trained it for sprints. Now, if you respected Terence, you would think that he would be training just as hard. So evidently he didn't respect Terence, or he was done. You can either take one of the two, but for some reason he didn't train as hard. He admits it. So I don't understand how y'all missing that information. And I yield.
Todd, what you think, Todd?
I think this goes to show how interesting this fight really is, because which would you rather be? I mean, Bud won belts at 135. He won every single belt there is at 140, and he won the WBO at 147. Spence at the welterweight division does have a better record, probably. I mean, a better resume. He spent his whole career at that weight.
At welterweight, right?
That's the PBC, though. All of the guys Spence beat are PBC guys, and Bud wasn't getting the chance to fight those guys. So in some ways, I mean, it's a flip of a coin. A 3-division champ versus a three belt champ, 39-0 versus 28-0. They've both proven everything there is to prove, to be honest. I think they're both fantastic fighters. And, they've had a couple of common opponents. They both beat them relatively easy. With the Kell Brook
John,
fight,
I think you and I are the neutral ones here,
just go back and forth about it all day.
Spence, well, you got Crawford out there and you got Spence here in Texas. I just think that you're probably the most neutral one of them all, and just being able to see both sides where, Nebraska, no matter what you say, no matter what evidence you pull out, they're going to rock for Nebraska. I think Tina Knight, she said, put her comment. Did you put her comment back up? Oh, Spence looks worried.
No.
Oh, she just said Team Crawford. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, so
He do look a little worried though. I ain't gonna lie about it. He do.
Nah, he just
the
looks
Crawford
like
fans are out
more
there. They're showing
nonchalant
up.
than anything. Like he kind of look like looking like he's slow. Like when you look at him, because he don't really look excited. But that's just his demeanor as a person. If you just really just paid attention to him, he doesn't look like he's wary. Trust me, from what he's been saying, he does not sound like anybody that's wary.
Yeah. If anything, I would say it would be more on Bud's end because I think Bud wanted this fight. I mean, he was pushing for the fight, but I think was he pushing the fight because he knows a big money day or whatever opportunity or whatever, or because I hadn't really heard a lot of noise from Bud's camp as I was before the fight was made. I think that there may be some, there's always gonna be a little splint of doubt that may, what if, right? In a boxer's mind, and I don't see that coming from Spence. Spence has been in those situations where he's taking hits and he feels like he can probably take anybody's punch, so he probably comes in with that mindset. But maybe he had a what if moment in his head. He might have that what if doubt in his back of his mind. And how does that?
Spence has no doubt at all. Spence has said, I am highly confident in breaking him. In order to break somebody, you got to be willing to go through something.
And
That's confident.
I don't like the fact that he hasn't even won this fight. One thing I don't like is he's looking at. I heard he was looking for Canelo. He might go looking for.
That's just business, though.
Right, but let's just focus on this fight. Let's get this.
Yeah, that's just promoting. That's
no, he's not doing that, Daniel. Hold on, he's not doing that. That's just the questions.
Huh?
That's the question that they've asked him. He's not doing that. They've asked him that question, and he pretty much brushed that off because he is focused on this fight. But and he said that no one's talked to him about anything with Canelo yet. So that's just rumor as far as speculative as far as what he's concerned. He's really just focused in on this fight. But getting back to what he's talking about, he's strictly talking about walking through Bud. I mean, I don't know if anybody's heard this, but he's emphatic about what's going to happen. So, and everything we've seen from him when he said something, I don't think everything he's ever said, it seemed like it came true. So I don't see him faltering now. And he's always had this mission of going to get 1 belt, 2 belt, 3 belt, 4 belts and becoming undisputed. This is his dream. Now, Bud's already achieved it at 130, at 140 or 135? No, 140.
35 and 140.
But who did Bud fight to get those belts? I want to ask y'all, who did he fight to come undisputed at 135?
Bud is ready to eat.
See, y'all ain't even answering the question. Who did he fight to get the belt at 135? Y'all ain't gonna answer the question.
He got Ricky Burns.
Who of us is significant?
Bud climbed the ladder to come to that. He came to that fight.
Porter. We all know Kell Brook. Like, who did he achieve to get undisputed against? Like, do y'all know any other people that he beat?
Any other champions besides those?
He beat Victor Postol. He beat
whoever was in the way.
No, let Todd speak. Todd is speaking.
Whoever was in the way.
He beat some good fighters and some of them undefeated. I think Spence's fight guys that we know better because they're all PBC guys and they all fight on TV.
But they've also been champions. Danny Garcia. Who was the other one he fought? Sean Porter, Kell Brook. He fought a couple of other notables that
But Todd is right though.
Nobody else. He shifted it already to PBC. That's crazy.
Well, we can't take.
Top Rank been around forever. Like what happened?
Yeah.
So Top Rank
there you go.
No kind of credit. See what I'm saying? Top Rank been around 90 years.
Yeah. So Top Rank has been
what's
around.
Wrong with Top Rank? Why they didn't promote Bud in the same way as Top Rank? Whose fault is that? Yeah. We can't go to promotion. We're talking about what was done in the ring at welterweight.
James,
He fought some good fighters. James,
we're gonna go to this next generation to see what's the energy out and what they're thinking about the fight. This is Donovan, and What do you think the energy is out for your generation? Or what are they? Who are they selecting? What are they
Well,
thinking?
from where I'm from, Fort Worth, Middlebrook area, like most of my friends, colleagues, they're going for that's like hometown native hero.
So that's your only grab is.
And then when we did see the Spence fight, he literally broke Ugas' face. So he walked in and broke his face and walked out with one eye. So, like Spence literally break bones, and I haven't seen like Crawford break a bone. So
he leaves debris and damage, is what he said.
So that's another thing. He gotta take them punches and then throw them punches too. It's gonna be a lot weighing on him for that.
Yeah. And at what point do you break your spirit when you take that hit in a fighter? When you get hit with that hard shot and you feel it?
In all honesty, I couldn't tell you because the referee, I was that type where the referee got to save me from myself. And I truly feel Crawford is that same fighter. Spence is that same fighter. So it's like the referee gonna have to be on alert. Hey man, let me help you out. Stop this fight before it get too bad.
Jules, this guy got Spence all the way. So James Bowser be happy about that. I guess Spence folks they finally chiming in after they done seen all the Crawford people chime in and just so the support and the love for Crawford. Oh, put 1 in the chat for Crawford, 2 for if you're in there, just put 1 in the chat for Crawford and 2 for Spence, so we can
tally it up.
Why Spence got to be 2?
I don't know. I'm surprised he did that because Spence is he just got the earlier. But James, I want to say James said, I had a comment from James. I can't see James' comment, but I think he was a Crawford guy or Spence guy. No, James was a Crawford guy.
I say this. It's going to be a good fight.
So let me ask you this.
I don't see it going past 9.
Not changing it.
There's somebody else named James on the panel?
On who? What's your prediction, Donnie? Knockout or stoppage?
Stoppage.
On whose behalf?
Between 6 and 9.
Yeah.
I really wanted to go to distance because I want a good fight.
What you say, James?
I really wanted to go to distance.
Let's go on the distance.
Hey.
Well, as far as for me, I
want a good fight though. I really wanted to go to distance. Spence, he cool. I watched they all access. He training. But he got something about his eyes. Something about his eyes ain't looking good.
I mean, I'll say that. I always peep a fighter out, and I will say that, yeah, Spencer's eye could be the factor in this fight. It could be.
He's always lazy.
That's how he always looks.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the fine parts of the fight. Let's talk about some of the pageantry that, Todd, you wrote a book called Beatbox. Yeah, beatboxing, right?
He wrote a book called what?
Beatboxing. So
this one here,
beatboxing.
So it's game. Yeah, and historically, we've seen boxing shift. Yeah, we've been seeing a big shift in boxing in the entertainment industry as far as being more entertaining, as far as with the walkout and the things and more artists. So give us a little bit
in that category too.
He went in that. They said he went in that category too, Donnie. Donnie, they beating you up, Donnie.
You know what's funny though?
Hold on, I was saying peace to my cousin. What was that? I missed that.
I said they beat you up over here. Said he even won in that category of the come out, the walkout.
The walkout music.
Who won that?
Spence. They said Spence won that category.
Look, Todd, go ahead and give us a look.
Hey, who gives a damn about the walkout? Who gives a damn about the walkout?
Well, let's see.
Who gives a damn about that? We just want to fight.
I do think when I was doing research for beatboxing.
Yeah, I agree with that, Donnie. I don't care about no walkout. I want to see.
Okay, y'all missing the point because it's going to be a walkout and everybody gonna see that.
There's some psychology to it.
So we're gonna need, because this is an excellent book.
It is
all for y'all hip hop heads. So let me go ahead and hear from Ty real quick before we If y'all see the book right here, where's my camera at? Oh yeah, there it is. That's the book. Yeah. Can y'all see it? Donovan, take it up there so I can see it in the camera. Okay, go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, I'll say this. When I was researching the book, I got to talk to like so many of my childhood idols, like Chuck D. I got to talk to Master Killer, Inspector Deck from Wu-Tang. I talked to Eric B., Rakim, all these people who I grew up idolizing when I was a kid in the 80s. All of these guys will be tuned in on Saturday, and they all had an opinion on who was going to win this hypothetical fight at the time I was researching the book. You know, I do think the hip hop world cares about this fight a great deal. I do think a lot of even the new school rappers who I was talking to, like D Smoke and some of these guys, they all love Spence and Crawford, and they all had their opinion about who was going to win. I do think it'll be star-studded affair. If I had to give Spence an edge in the hip-hop category, I think he definitely wins that one. Texas probably has a more rich hip-hop history than Omaha, Nebraska, but Bud's got his hip-hop fans too, for sure, no doubt about it.
Ooh, that's below the belt, Todd. That's below the belt. Why you say that when they went on camera? Who out there in the chat? Tina. That's below the belt.
But let me ask you this, Todd. Did you interview any boxers as far as the music for when they walk out of the ring, and how significant is that when a boxer walks out? You know, as far as does that seem to give them an edge or give them a?
You know, I was even talking to like trainers like Buddy McGirt, who talked about how hip hop plays a role as a rhythm aid in the gym, and how important the music is to teaching guys to shadow box and find rhythm. I think hip hop plays a huge part in training. I think Zab Judah had his playlist set out back in the day, his mixtapes. You know, Zab was one of the guys I interviewed for the book who, you know, his walkout mattered to him, put him in the right mindset. He had that iconic walkout with Shine back in the early 2000s. You think of De La Hoya, Trinidad, which this fight kind of reminds me of a little bit. You had Big Pun and Fat Joe in the ring for Tito Trinidad. Yeah, it does matter. It can be a distraction too. Of course, I interviewed D Smoke, who had the controversial walkout with Deontay Wilder before that second Tyson Fury fight. A lot of people blamed the costume and the walkout, and that was part of the narrative after the fight. You know, so you got to have your mind on the fight. In some regard, what the guy said earlier is true. You don't want to pay too much attention on that kind of stuff. You got to focus on what the job is. But there's no doubt the music helps training, helps people put the fighter in the mindset as they make that ring walk, which is a scary thing to do. And plus, for us, the fans, man, we're going to remember these ring walks forever. It is the fight of the year, one of the best fights in years. We're going to remember at least I'll remember the music that was played, the people who walk out with the fighters. And I'm sure they have some tricks up their sleeve for this one.
Right. Kendrick, as a boxer, give us your take on that as far as the music, the setup, the walk-in. How significant is that, and does that really play a part?
Psychological.
Mm-hmm.
DMX was my go-to. It was something. It's big. The mental aspect of it, getting you in the right moment. To the extreme, from me with DMX to watching Holyfield actually shed a tear on his way to the ring listening to gospel music. So the music played a crazy part in the psychological of going into that ring. So I can definitely attest to the music. And again, Todd, your books, man, been doing real good, man. I enjoyed both of them, especially the Budini, because I think I read that one twice. Because it was so much inspiration and motivation for myself as far as my coaching and ways of coaching. So, hey, man, big ups to you, man. And
just so you know, when I interviewed Bernard Hopkins, he said DMX was the one rapper he wished could have rapped him to the ring. He said he never got to connect with X. Yeah. But he said that would have been his dream, to walk to the ring to like X is coming for you or whatever. You know.
Yeah, I can see that. One of those tracks. I can see that too.
Yeah. Do we have any idea who's going to be the walk-in with Spence and Bud
I
yet?
have no idea. Normally they try to keep
that
private.
No predictions or guess or nobody.
The Grim Reaper.
Hey, if I'm
Mike Tyson came out. Mike Tyson didn't come out to nothing. He just came out. He's ready to fight.
Mike Tyson came out to Tupac. That was like to me one of the most.
That was in that one fight, but not every fight. When he fought Trevor Burby, he just ran to the ring. He didn't want nothing.
But that was before I think hip hop really got integrated. I think Mike Tyson kind of actually set the stage with that Tupac ring entrance. To me, that was one of the most iconic ring entrances with that.
It was.
Yeah, you know, that's one I would always remember was that song because it was the first unheard record that we had heard from Tupac, and Mike Tyson came out to it, and it was warrior mode, and it was we had never heard it before.
What made that great is that he wasn't just walking to the ring to Tupac. Tupac recorded those songs for him, rapped about him, made those tracks weeks before, days before the fight.
Right.
He recorded the last one before the Bruce Seldon fight on a Wednesday, and Tyson, of course, fought on a Saturday. And then, of course, another major moment in American pop culture history, Pac is shot after the Bruce Seldon
Hold on, I got somebody in my room.
Right.
Are you the last one here?
Donnie, can you mute yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right, Todd. That was to me, and they kind of like that Mike Tyson, Tupac interaction kind of almost in a way set the stage for the walkout. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a huge moment in boxing history. And Tyson's a funny one to talk about because people loved when Tyson would walk to the ring to no music with the cut towel and everything, but they forget that he was also the person who had Pac making rap songs for him. Later in his career, Tyson came out to Lil Wayne and Birdman. Tyson did both. In the early part of his career, no music. Late in his career, he fully embraced hip hop. He came out to DMX a couple times, came out to Pac a bunch. Ambitions of Serrata, there for a while, was his walkout song. I still think of Mike Tyson when I hear it. And Zab said the same thing to me when I interviewed him for the book.
Yeah. So ring walks some do make somewhat of a difference as far as the setup.
It's a psychological thing amongst fighters too. I'll never forget my first time watching Kevin Kelly and Prince Ahmed. How Prince Ahmed was the king of stalling, and Kevin Kelly was trying to man, come on to the ring, because even that, the impatience, the anger is building, play into that psychological warfare, So it's something, man, with this music and ring walks, and that's why it's always a big deal when it comes to contracts. Who can walk out first?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I believe they're flipping a coin.
And who is
flip a coin?
Who is Terence Crawford walked out to? I'm just trying to get some history on his walkout. Who has he walked out to?
Wait, is Donnie them in there? Did they leave again? Does he know? I don't know. He might know.
I told you,
but his last fight he walked out to LL. Lil Bootsy walked him out.
What was it? I Need Love. Or what was it? Which one? LL song was it?
Look, you doing most right now. Okay?
I'm just asking a question, man. I don't know.
You said I Need Love. That was after the fight. but Lil Bootsy walked him out though.
Yeah. Oh, did he?
And LL. He come out to whoever.
That was the honest question. I didn't know. Who he had walked out to. I know Errol Spence is. He's had some real iconic walks.
At the end of the day, it's gonna be a good fight.
Shout out to Lancaster.
Who was that?
There you go.
Who was that?
Oh, is that?
A shout out to my boy AD Bonner, who's there he is right there. Yeah,
Oh, that's hot.
Yeah. So Big Tuck, Southside the Realest. That was another, hometown walkout.
They showing off now, Donnie.
What's that right there? Who walked out to that?
Hey, that's
Spence.
Oh. we ain't worried about the wall. We worry about what's inside the ring. That's what we worry about. We ain't worried about that fancy shit.
But if we talk about
they can bring him out like they brought Tyson Fury out. We don't care. We just want to get in the ring.
I am gonna say this though. When you have that much, usually fighters who have that much, with the exception of Deontay Wilder, fighters who have that much of an extravagant walkout, that shows confidence, right?
Yeah.
Community support.
That shows that they really ready, and that's psychological. They in it already. They already feel confident. They stoked up. They ready, And
So-
I mean, to go all out and put that much focus.
So what
into
happened?
that-
What happened to Adrian? Well, what happened to Adrian Broner when he came out all fancy and wearing his diamonds, popping his colored glasses and all that? He got knocked the fuck out. Excuse my
He's
language.
not a but. Adrian Broner is a talker and a cocky, it's two different mindsets.
He just threw your whole approach out the door.
Hey, let's not compare either one of these fighters to Adrian Broner. I think both
At all.
probably a cut
Yeah.
above.
Yeah. And shout out to Adrian Broner, but we
James Bowser said he need to pop back up, please.
yeah.
He
But I just wanted to kind of touch on that.
He got some more
Hey,
time.
Kendrick,
Yes, sir.
this y'all putting out little things.
What did he say? I missed what he
Y'all putting out some things. What?
Yeah,
Oh,
they putting out these little pictures. Who is that right there? Who is that?
All those are.
Oh, that's Porter.
That's Porter. Oh, what they're
Porter.
showing is the walkout is the big thing right now. So and this look right here.
So you think that's gonna be a key?
You know what? I might be in Omaha for the fight. So I guess if we might have a drawing for this book.
So you think that's gonna be the key to the fight, the walkout?
We're not saying
it's a key, but sometimes it does have a psychological effect.
What I am saying is every last one of those fighters said they want to give the people a show. That is part of it. I didn't say it. Spence said it. Crawford said it.
They said
that is part of the show, whether we want to like it or not. Now, what happens in the ring is the huge determination. But we're just seeing, who's got the idea of bringing that show to the forefront, and and they're trying to. What Jermaine is doing is building
you never know
on that. He's trying to say that just that pageantry right there builds strength in the whole fight right now, right?
Right.
Yeah,
it just shows.
That's what they're saying. Like, if he don't even have that, he still ain't come to the big dance right. That's what they're saying.
They got you gotta find whatever you can find, whatever you're gonna find to grab onto to build yourself back up that much more to win or whatever. I don't know. It is what it is.
James, they don't see you. We know you want to pop back in, but they don't see you. He don't see you. Just James, just hit the link, right? All you have to do is hit the link and you can pop back in, James, because that's the one.
Hey, try.
Yeah.
I do the wrestling thing. The boxing is on the other side. This is what I do.
Where you at?
This is what we do.
Okay.
So
I see you.
It's the two.
But I want to tell you this.
So when it comes to competition, we understand competition at its finest. We do it all, and when we train hard. Even on the boxing side, it ain't no magic. It's just hard work that we put in. We prep. It's preparation. So y'all working that heat, but this room right here is hot. It's hot too. This whole little building is hot. The boxing gym side, this side, everything is hot. We train. When we train, this is our facility.
Let me just say this, Todd. Errol Spence just retweeted this. Todd, are you hearing me? He retweeted. Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford plan to put on for their cities that made them. We are part of the cities that made them. They are planning this right at the moment of this show. He retweeted that they plan on putting on the cities that made them. So again, that goes back to that whole from the beginning, from the walkout all the way to that knockout. I think it's going to be a knockout somewhere along the way.
Walkout to the knockout. I like that.
I think that's one of my favorite. That sounds like Bundini, doesn't it?
Walkout to the knockout.
It sounds like Bundini.
That's a book.
Is that a book, Todd?
I better get. I'm writing that down right now.
I hope Todd.
Gonna walk out to the knockout.
I hope if I can just say, I don't know how much I can do, but I hope Todd is the one that gets to write this book, this next. I think he has the energy. I think he has the research, and I think he just, I think he's feeling the energy because we're in Texas. We got the Omaha connection there going on. Todd, I don't know if you knew that. I'm originally from Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, I did know that.
Todd, did you know that?
I did, yeah. And look, I want to say
you
this
did
is
know that.
hey guys, this is one of my favorite things about boxing. One of my favorite things about boxing.
You Donnie, because we can't hear Todd.
It's that there is like a sort of regional aspect to it, and I think hip hop does the same thing, where you love the artist from your city who has your sound, who raps about what you've seen in your life and what you went through. You think of like what Dr. Dre did for Compton. He put Compton on the map, or what, you know, we had the bridge wars in New York City from Queens and the Bronx. Like it is so interesting to me that hip hop and boxing both have that regional quality where people band together and support their guy. And they do represent the hopes and dreams of cities and states. So there's like a regional travel kind of thing about boxing that I've always loved. You know, I remember watching Zab Judah fight Cotto on the eve of the Puerto Rican Day Parade at Madison Square Garden. You had everybody from Brooklyn there cheering for Zab. You had all the great Puerto Rican fans cheering for Miguel Cotto. That's what's great about boxing, is that you rep your state, you rep your region, you rep your person. I'm from West Virginia, so we claimed Sweet Pea. He was in Virginia, but we claimed him anyways. Like you root for your region, the people who represent where you're coming from. I think hip hop does that. I think boxing does it too. And I guarantee you, those two states, Nebraska and Texas, are all going to be tuned in. I don't know how they couldn't be. It's got to be the biggest fight in a long time for both of those regions.
Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, because we're gonna do that talk back. We got a big talk back coming after this fight. That Monday after the fight, we're gonna get Donnie Parker back on to talk that Monday. So please subscribe. We're gonna.
What's the temperature down there right now?
Donnie Parker, you have another response. They said Nebraska is not hotter than Texas. Stop it. It's not hotter than Texas.
I know that's what I said. I know it's not. It feels good. It feels good right now. Wind is blue, nice little cool breeze.
I'm telling you,
it's only
Spence is training in the heat. I'm like, oh my God.
I don't give it. So he training in that heat. So what? It's hot in every gym. I think it was hot in Kendrick gym when I went in there. So it was like everybody training heat. Bud training in the elevation. Bud training in the elevation, so they want they just opposites attract. You know what I mean? Heat elevations. So I mean, both of them had their good points. You know what I mean? You can train in the elevation, get that cardio, keep that cardio going. You can train in that heat so you can breathe throughout the fight. I understand it.
So let me ask you this.
But made the best man win. And I just feel like it's gonna be my guy.
So looking at both fighters,
right?
And this fight goes the distance. Whose advantage is it if it goes the distance? Whose advantage? Spence. What about you, Todd?
Well, I think I don't want to be the negative person on here, but I think this could be a very close, controversial fight. I know there's a rematch clause. I think we're probably looking at 2 fights, guys. I think we're probably going to have to watch these guys fight twice, which is not a bad thing. My biggest concern about this fight is it could be a controversial decision. I think when they get hit, tend to react and fight back. Neither guy is going to want to back down or give an inch. They're going to be tough rounds to score. They better have some good judges this weekend. I think we're probably going to look at a razor thin 7-5, 6-6 kind of scorecard. Either way you're leaning, I think it's going to be super close because I respect both guys that much.
It's a 12-round fight. Yeah.
You know, Spence been in distance, 6 times? Bud been in distance 9 times? I don't know. To go to distance, I think it's going to be, like he said, close call. It's going to be a split decision.
Yeah, I was just I didn't really pay attention to the stamina of the fighters in that distance fight. That's one thing I hadn't had a chance to look at, but that may be one of the key things to kind of go back and look at and see who performed well when they went the distance, who kept it, who was able to push through and who looked fresher after 12 rounds,
It's been a while since Crawford being 12. He been knocking folks out. So there's some good stuff going on this week.
One thing I do want to ask Kendrick before he leaves.
Did you watch that?
See,
Go ahead,
and this
Donnie.
is for you too, Donnie. Donnie, this is for you too. The speed. When I see, but he is so fast. Like, I mean, I don't even know if he got that power, but that speed is so. He'll hit you before you know you.
He has a ghost. I call it a ghost kind of punch.
I mean, how you gonna stop that before you know?
Time and beats.
I tried. Remember when we was working at the building and we were talking about it? What I tell you, his advantage is gonna be. He know how to hit in between punches. I heard Kendrick say earlier that he like to swing wide, not wide, but he really ain't swinging too wide. He throwing little choppy short shots. He punch in between. If you watch all his fights, he punch in between punches.
He does.
Somebody really does. Somebody predicting that EJ is going to stop Crawford by 9. Predicted Spence's last fight. I said he was going to stop the guy in 10. Ugas in 10, and he stopped it in 10. Well documented on Facebook. Everything was live when I said it. I think this is going the distance. I think it's going to favor Spence, and I think it's going to be a knockdown. I ain't going to say who, but I think we're going to see a knockdown in this fight. And I think we may see a knockdown in 9. Not a knockout, but a knockdown in 9.
I think it's going to be over. I think it's going to be over between 6 and 8 or 6 and 9.
They tell him fast too, and look what happened to him. So I guess that's
Tommy.
Yes, and who's the smoker? I see why D. Wilder lost too. He said, "I see why D. Wilder lost too."
He ain't got no stamina. Wilder ain't got no stamina. His legs too small. He need to work on his legs. He's too tall to be having them little bitty legs. His stamina is
another one. We got bulls in Texas, not corn. So somebody said we got Donnie. They really hammering.
Hey, so what does that mean? What does that mean?
Bud likes to fight too much for his own good. It will be his last downfall. Mark my words. That's just.
What did he say? Hold on, let me see that.
They nailing you, Donnie. Spence been fixing to beat Bud up. I'm sorry, Donnie. They going in on you. It's like
they going in. Hey, look, listen though. That they say they got bulls and now horns. Are they sharp?
Not corn. They going in.
Not corn. Oh, okay. It's about that money.
10th knockout. Okay,
about
you got
that money.
Crawford.
All right,
got a Crawford fan out there.
I don't see them like that.
They all down there eating that corn. Y'all probably eating corn from Nebraska.
Now who got rock worse?
Y'all probably eating that corn from Nebraska. But we ain't eating none of y'all steaks though.
So I want to go back to the beginning of the conversation. When I said both of them got caught, who got rocked worse? Crawford.
Who got rocked worse?
Yeah, who got rocked worse? When they got hit with the punch, who got rocked worse? And what kind of fight?
Spence.
What was the? I mean, now I got to debate you on that one.
I think. Was it against Ocampo?
Ocampo win.
Was it against Ocampo? In like the 3rd or 4th round?
I don't recall that rock.
I mean, he came back and won the fight.
Yeah,
he came back and won the fight. But the only person that really rocked Bud was your boy, what's his name?
Gamboa.
When he was at 140. Gamboa.
Yeah.
How did he?
At 140. But who?
You got that footage of when Spence got rocked by Ocampo versus Bud getting rocked? Because I know Bud was on shaky. He was on real. He was on real shaky legs when he took.
Against who? Kavalakis.
Gamboa fight at 135. It's been a minute for that, but you're right. Bud was in a little bit of trouble. He came back and won, but I think they both, to be honest, get hit a little bit. That's what makes this fight exciting. I think We've seen Spence get hit a couple times. We've seen Mean Machine hit Bud. Technically, some people said that was a knockdown. Gamboa rocked Bud a little bit. I've seen, Ugas hit Spence.
I've seen Bud get rocked by another fighter that was kind of a no-name. I forgot what fight it was, who it was.
Why would?
But I'm just saying. I'm just looking at.
So you know what?
If he gets hit with a Spence,
don't listen. Check this out. Will you agree with this?
How will he
Bud had to fight all his mandatories. Why? Because don't nobody want to sign the contract. So he got to fight his mandatories because everybody he want to fight is backing out and going to call out somebody else. Why? But he's fighting all his mandatories. They want easy route. They want that easy road. Well,
right,
now he in that.
But I'm going to tell you, Donnie, this. This is real true. This is real deal Holyfield, what I'm about to tell you. I've seen Crawford, and I like Crawford. I like Bud, actually. I like his style. I think he kind of.
I seen him get hit.
Yeah, and I seen him get hit against some fighters that weren't really known. And Spence, when he got hit by Ugas, you brought that up one time. Spence guards down. He took Ugas' best shot without him, when he was distracted trying to look for a mouthpiece. And Ugas, and it knocked him backwards, but it didn't knock him down. And Spence laughed that off and came back, and we know what happened. So I've seen Crawford get shaken up in 3 fights. And he came
so let me ask you this. So do you think Bud would have backed up like Ugas did when he knocked him into the ropes? You think Bud would have backed up and put his guards up, or he would have stepped up to it while he was on the rope?
I don't think Bud would be able to take a Spence if he take a punch from Gamboa.
You're not answering the question.
If he take a punch from Spence like he took from Gamboa or any of those other 2 fights from Spence, it's not going to be the same. I don't think.
Who's the best finisher? You're not answering the question though. But when Ugas knocked Spence into the ropes, do you think Bud would have backed up like Ugas did, or you think Bud would have went up there and pressed the issue?
I mean,
who's the better finisher?
I don't think, but like I said, you can't really. I don't really count that number because Spence totally took his eyes off the fight and was focused on.
That's his fault. That's the same thing with Mayweather when he hit your boy after he headbutted him. Shouldn't have he should have had his gloves up.
I'm just saying. I've seen.
But do you think? Bud would have backed up like Ugas, or he would have pressed the issue?
Like I said, I don't see Bud taking a Spence punch. If he gets raw, if he takes a punch like he took,
you still not answering the question.
I just answered it. I don't see that happening. First of all,
when Ugas knocked Spence into the ropes and he fell into the ropes, do you think Bud would have backed up like Ugas and put his gloves up, or he would have pressed the issue?
Of course, Bud would have pressed the issue. If that
best finisher in boxing. Will you agree, Todd?
But
best finisher in boxing.
Probably. Yeah, but like I said, that was one of those type of moments in a fight that Spence got distracted.
Different fighter.
Yeah, he probably would have paid for that against Bud. But at the end of the day, I think Spence can take a punch better than Bud, and I think that Spence, right, will be able to hit. He's going to hit harder than Bud, and I don't know if Bud can respond like Spence will respond, and that's my take on it.
They said the same thing about Sean Porter and Kell Brook. This is gonna be his toughest fight. This is gonna be a toughest fight.
Okay, time out. I need to get some of these comments in before we drop out. Can you pull up Dre G's comments, because he had a couple of good comments out there that I want Donnie or whoever can chime in on there. You're gonna have to, yeah. Okay, he said, with all due respect to Bud, but he can't beat EJ on the scorecard. His only avenue is for victory or a knockout. I don't know if I read that. Did I?
It was a knockout.
Yeah. Yeah, he had another comment. Yeah. And Dre G got to Bud would have gotten knocked out if he after getting hit. Wait.
After getting hit flush and hurt Ugas would have finished it.
Which other one?
I'll say this real quick while we're in between.
Go ahead, Todd. Thank you.
I do worry about the scorecards. Anyone who watched the fight on Saturday between George Kambosos, there was a terrible decision. Sometimes it looks like the judges are blind. I really hope it's the best judges. I hope they score it right. I think it is going to be an extremely close fight. Could be flash knockdowns. Wouldn't shock me because I think both guys are really brave. I think both guys let their hands go, and both guys have, as we've all debated here, have been hit a couple times. I just hope it's a cleanly scored fight. I think we're probably going to watch 2 of these fights before the year's up. I just hope it's not because it's a controversial decision. I hope the judges get it right. Is my sort of worry going into the fight, because I think it's going to be a tough one to score.
Every city wins, Todd. I don't know how we're gonna get on your schedule. We're gonna have to fly to one of those cities and do a live, okay? I don't know if we're gonna come down here, or in Omaha, but we're gonna do a live and
go to Omaha.
No, we cannot go. So y'all saying y'all gonna go to Omaha?
All right, we'll broadcast live out of Bud's gym. We're gonna broadcast live out of Bud's gym.
I haven't met Spence before. He's someone who I wanted to talk to for beatboxing. I couldn't get it close enough to him. I did meet Bud last year at the Boxing Hall of Fame. He was a really cool guy. He's a really stand-up dude, really nice guy. And I think both of these guys are awesome dudes. So I'll be happy to go to either place. I'll be the neutral voice here in this debate.
I know.
I grew up in West Virginia. I live in New York, so I don't have a regional affiliation in this.
Okay, any more comments? Okay, Dre G. Okay, you got us going here. Bud is a slow starter and has
lost more rounds even though he has 11 knockouts.
Wow, Dre.
That's an interesting point. That's an interesting fact. He is a slow starter. He's kind of has a strategy. He loses. He'll take the loss on the first 3. Usually after he starts to kind of figure out. Like
he did against Porter. He was losing the Porter fight. And what he do? He turned on another gear.
Haney ain't better than Tank. Who said that? Donovan, you didn't say that. You didn't just say
Donovan
that.
said that.
Nah, man. I saw Haney in his last fight. He didn't even beat Lomachenko. He looked horrible.
What?
I don't know.
We wrapping it up, y'all.
Try. This is the week to be in Omaha this week.
We're going to have to go around with predictions. I want to hear predictions from people.
We are going to have another talk back that following Monday. I don't know who's going to be here. Another talk back and just kind of get a feel for people's reaction and is it the outcome of what we predicted. Like, what did we see coming or not see coming, kind of deal with a little more of that outcome. And we're going to do better with our, hopefully, Todd, if you're available Monday, we'll do better with our sound. And Donnie, hopefully we can get you in a space where we can really hear all the amazing things you got to say. And I don't even know if any one of y'all going to show up, because you may not show up if your guy don't win.
I'll be.
What about the Cowboys?
Huh? If your guy
that's a whole nother show, Donnie.
So don't. Oh, we didn't even talk about the fact about the backing. The backing. Cowboys, Spence got them Cowboys hands down, and I don't know.
Hey, listen, we don't give it Don. We got Warren Buffett behind him.
Who got? So who does Vegas have winning?
Warren Buffett.
Who Vegas got winning the fight? Anybody know
that?
Bud opened up as a slight favorite.
Okay.
He got what? What's the name? Spence got Jerry Jones, and Bud got Warren Buffett. So you got those Clash of Titans there too. So that's going to be an amazing shift there. So it's all around just going to be a great fight to just chime in. So hopefully we get that better sound worked out, Todd, and hopefully you could come Monday. If you'll probably be on all kind of other platforms, but if you have time, we're going to do this again Monday night after the fight and just kind of get some talk back. And I think it's going to be another a fight coming forward. So, let's do a closing remarks real quick, or I guess we can close with who you think's going to win. I guess we could close with.
The young
yeah, I'm going with Spence for the dub.
Hey, we didn't hear you.
You gotta.
I'm going with Spence for the dub.
I already know what that whole panel. Y'all ain't even got to say it. I already know what y'all going to do.
I already know I got Spence for the dub.
Okay. What round do you think? What round?
Between 6 and 9.
A good fighter, so I'm gonna give it 10. I'm gonna give it 10.
I think
6 and 9.
Now, to be in all honesty, I think it's gonna be a tale of the two styles. I'm gonna give Spence the edge, only because he's a harder puncher. He's gonna press the issue, and I think he's gonna probably edge out on the rounds. I think he's probably gonna get about only because Bud is a slow starter. I think he's gonna probably get about an 8-4 round. I think it's gonna be about an 8-4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Might be a 2-point round.
That's a rematch clause too. So
I'm sticking with Bud. I mean with Crawford.
Look, true feelings came out. True feelings came out. Hey, I understand. True feelings came out. Come on, Grambling. Hey, come on, Grambling. Them true feelings came out, huh?
What you think?
I hope you guys don't kill me for this. I think Bud's going to win a unanimous decision that some people think should have went Spence's way, and I think that'll fuel the second fight. I think Bud's going to win a close but unanimous decision.
I'm rocking with you, Todd. Hey, now I'm gonna take y'all around. I'm gonna take y'all around the room. I'm gonna take y'all around the room. I'm gonna take. Hey, then we got another guy that comes out here too, Shakur.
Shakur he nice.
Jamel Henry.
But Shakur can't fight for Bud on Saturday, so I know you bring
no.
He got
we ain't worried about it.
So
we ain't worried about it.
I can see honestly, I can see the fight going either way, but I do think that it may be a 2-point round in there somewhere for somebody. I think it's gonna be a knockdown, probably about the later rounds, probably about 9, and I think it's gonna go in the favor of Spence in that regard.
And I am going to ask Donna, because she does chime in like she's the one that's going to show up at the Super Bowl party. And
I show up at the party.
Hey,
with the food.
We know the Cowboys ain't gonna be in there.
I'm gonna go for Bud.
You answer that question. Let me just. I'm gonna say nonpartisan because I know I
say it again, Dada.
About asking him for stuff.
What Dada say?
I want to ask Derek James for something to show up somewhere, so I'm just gonna stay nonpartisan. But I do think both of these guys have wonderful foundations. So I hope as a bookstore that we could work with these foundations, whether we're giving books or something like that. I would look forward to whoever wins. I'm just gonna come back and say, hey, let's do something for some of these foundations because these guys are community men. They do a lot of stuff for their community, for their neighborhoods, and so whoever wins, I would want to give back, some children books or something to that community, anything, I would, I want to take somebody, if they got a bookshelf, Donnie
What?
Donnie Parker.
What?
If they got a bookshelf in there, I would like to have, and just display some books out there and just take those to Omaha to the gym.
That's on our side. That's on the wrestling side. That's on our side.
Okay.
These rooms right here.
I got you.
We got a whole
class. Okay.
JG.
Oh, Dre G. So who you going for? I have $100 bet down there at the. Okay, I like that comment.
I'll be showing up Monday.
What did he say? I have $100.
He put $100 on Spence, the bookshop. He's gonna bring it to the bookshop, and we just gonna buy books for whatever community with that $100 that you're gonna bring to us.
You know what I'm talking about?
I'll be showing up on Monday to collect my winnings. Oh my God! We're gonna donate that to
hey, you just look. You just make sure you pay what you owe too.
So, Trot, where are you gonna watch the fight at?
I don't know. It's a couple of places, but that's a toss up too. So
What about you, kid?
Hey, look, come to Omaha and watch it, Trot.
yeah, you know what? Are y'all gonna have it at the gym? Are y'all gonna have it at Buzz Gym, Donnie? Once y'all have it at Buzz Gym, I will fly to Nebraska and watch it in the middle of the ring. I will sit in the middle of the ring and watch that fight.
You and Donovan, right? With your Errol Spence.
Hey, look, we're gonna have it on the big screen in my uncle's backyard.
That would be funny.
Errol Spence. I told him
we watching it outside.
Nebraska, no more.
I already did it.
What?
Whole Nebraska was mad at me.
So, okay, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks to our super producers over there.
It's the old baby. It's the old baby.
And Todd, we are going to try
It's the old baby. It's the old baby.
To the fight. I will try to see if I can get on your schedule just so we can just kind of do a talk back session. This was kind of the shakedown and do a talk back and bring James Bowser. He said he's going to come back with us for that talk back session. So we'll be ready for that. And Dre G, a talk back session that's going to go down on Monday. So thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys for supporting my work.
So you can get the notifications. We want to notify everybody, so please subscribe.
It's the old baby.
We got Jeezy coming. Jeezy is coming to the bookstore, and so I think I said that
Saturday, August 13th.
Sunday, August 13th. I am going to try to see if whoever market wins to try to see if we can get Jeezy, because they did a funny skit about Jeezy and boxing. Somebody did a AI on Jeezy boxing. Mm-hmm. So I do want to talk to him about if Bud wins, see if he can come to that market. If Spence wins, to see if he can. Well, he's already coming to this market, so I've already pitched that to see if Jeezy can come to Omaha, Nebraska.
Look, so when Bud wins, daughter, sis, nephew, Kendrick, and Trot, I want the Nebraska in right back there behind y'all.
Hey, before we go though, Todd,
yes, sir.
There's a rumor that Spence gave one of the best and greatest boxers known today a problem.
Yeah, it's true. I think I've
Floyd
heard
Mayweather.
that from a lot of people about Mayweather.
Oh, we heard about that.
So we didn't bring that up, but we do know that something happened. Most definitely happened where he gave.
Mayweather ain't never been undisputed either.
So that's kind of.
They say he the best, but he ain't never been undisputed.
That tells something though. Floyd been one of the most best, one of the best fighters.
They say he the best, but he never been undisputed. Okay. Bud finna be undisputed twice.
I'm just saying.
They say Floyd's the best.
He is the best.
He's never been undisputed though.
Why do you keep bringing stuff up?
I'm just saying.
We trying to wrap it up.
That's what makes this fight so good, guys.
I'm just saying. They see the best. They said Mayweather the best, but he ain't never been undisputed.
It's over with. Now you contesting one of the best.
Before we go, Errol Spence is going to be the second undisputed welterweight champion.
I ain't say Mayweather good, but he said he was good in my house. As far as the weight, as far as the record.
Shout out to DC. Funky Town's finest, Fort Worth.
And Donnie, we will put a big end back there if he wins. We will put an end for the show. And Trot said he's gonna sit right under.
Hey, I just want to know if you guys.
I eat corn live. I eat a ear corn live. Raw corn live.
Hey, look,
live on Monday after the fight.
I just want to know if you guys are going to give a copy of Beatboxing to Jeezy. That's what I want to know.
All right, thank you guys for tuning in, Todd. Thank you so much. We'll see you next. We'll see you Monday.
Next Monday.
All right.
Appreciate you guys.
Bye-bye.